In a world drunk on arrogance and fake self-love, most who claim confidence are nothing more than fragile performers, easily broken, easily exposed. But what if I told you true confidence, real, unshakable confidence, is quiet, invisible, and almost dangerous? Today, we uncover the one trait that separates those who merely act confident from those who are truly powerful. Confidence is perhaps the most counterfeited currency of our time. You see it everywhere, in the voices that speak too much, in the hands that gesture too widely, in the social feeds screaming for attention. But what you're witnessing is not confidence. It is desperation to wear makeup. It is fear in costume. It is a performance begging for applause. True confidence, the kind that bends kingdoms and dominates men, has no interest in being seen. It is invisible because it does not need to be confirmed by others. It does not announce itself. It simply is. In my time, the loudest men in the court were always the first to fall. They were intoxicated by their own noise. They thought confidence meant control over a room, but the real masters, the true princes, understood something else entirely. The man who controls the room is not the one talking. It is the one everyone is watching silently, unsure of what he will do next. You see, power is not in presence. It is a mystery, and confidence, when it is real, carries the same quality. It is quiet because it is complete. What is complete needs no decoration, no audience, no applause. The one who is truly confident does not shout his victories. He does not parade his opinions like banners in a crowd. He simply walks like someone who knows the outcome long before the others even realize a game has begun. This is the difference between a performer and a strategist. The performer needs the stage. The strategist builds it. Ask yourself this. Have you ever seen a lion explain that it is dangerous? It does not speak. It simply moves, and all others respond. This is the essence of invisible confidence. It is unspoken, yet undeniable. It sits within a man like a loaded weapon, unseen until it must be drawn. Now listen carefully. The man who speaks less in a room often holds more power than the man who commands it with words. Because silence, when paired with presence, creates anticipation, and anticipation breeds caution. When others are cautious around you, you are in control. That is confidence, not the control of a dictator who shouts, but the control of the chess master who makes one move and waits. And as others scramble, panic, and overextend, he watches. When you understand this, you'll see that most people's confidence is really just noise used to hide a vacuum. The more they speak, the more you see the cracks. The more they perform, the more you understand their need to be validated. But true confidence has no such hunger. It's like a sovereign state, self-sufficient, self-contained. It does not need foreign approval to exist. Let others post their achievements. Let them boast of every minor success. Let them crave compliments and seek trophies, all while you quietly build, because one day, without warning, you'll arrive, not with a speech, but with a result, and in that moment, they will remember every silence you held, every moment you said nothing while they shouted, every time they overlooked you, thinking their noise meant superiority. And when your actions break the surface, they will seem sudden, but you'll know they were carefully prepared in silence all along. This is why confidence is invisible, because it is rooted in something no one else can see. Preparation, discipline, clarity, and the power to act without the need to be seen. You do not rise by showing the world what you're doing. You rise by doing it so well, they can't ignore it when it's done. You let the silence speak until the outcome roars. That is what the truly confident understand. That is what Machiavelli observed behind every lasting prince. And that is what you must learn if you wish to move without being detected, to strike without being suspected, and to win without ever needing to announce you were even playing. The average man believes power is shown through force. He believes dominance must be expressed loudly and immediately. When threatened, he reacts. When praised, he boasts. He believes his strength lies in being unchained. His tongue, his fists, his pride. But what he does not realize is this: the most dangerous creature in any room is the one who does not react. Restraint is not a weakness, it is mastery. It is not the absence of power, but the absolute control over it. Think of a blade. The dull man uses it carelessly. He swings, he cuts, he shows it to all. But the master swordsman, he keeps it sheathed until the perfect moment. He does not threaten, he simply waits, and when he strikes, it is final. This is the essence of restraint, not suppression but timing. The confidence to hold your power, not because you fear using it, but because you understand exactly when it will do the most damage. A man ruled by impulse is easily provoked. Call him a fool, and he must defend his name. Ignore him, and he will demand attention. Challenge him, and he will fight on your terms, but a man of restraint, you cannot move him. You cannot rush him, because he is not reactive. He is calculating. In the courts of princes and the politics of power, I watched countless men destroy themselves by acting too quickly, too emotionally. They believed to act swiftly was to act strongly. But what they lacked was the discipline of delay, the ability to hold back, not forever, but until the moment of greatest advantage, because action alone does not win. Correct action, precisely timed, wins. Imagine this: a rival insults you publicly. The crowd watches, expecting your rage. Your name is tested. Your pride is pierced. What do? If you react instantly, you validate the insult. You let them dictate your tempo, but if you say nothing, if you smile, nod, and walk away, you plant something far more powerful than revenge. You plant fear, because now they must wonder, what is he planning? Why didn't he react? What does he know that I don't? And in that silence, in that delay, you gain the upper hand. This is the tactic of every ruler who lasts. They do not respond to every whisper. They do not fight every insult. They reserve their strength like kings guard gold, only spending when the return is certain. The unrestrained man is a puppet, tied to every emotion, every slight. He believes he is free, but he is a slave to provocation. The restrained man, however, governs himself first, and in governing himself, he begins to govern others. Those who cannot control their own instincts cannot be trusted with influence. They may rise quickly, but they fall even faster because the world knows exactly how to push them. They have no firewall, no shield. They are exposed. But the man who masters restraint is unpredictable, and the unpredictable are untouchable. Because you never know when they will strike, and more importantly, you never know what they're thinking. Silence can be interpreted in 1,000 ways. Inaction is a message written in fog, and that uncertainty is a weapon far sharper than any sword. True restraint is not indifference. It is a conscious decision. It is biting your tongue until the right moment. It is smiling at your enemies while you dismantle them one brick at a time, unseen, unhurried. A restrained man does not need to be the loudest in the room, because he has already decided that the room does not matter, only the outcome does, and when the moment comes, when he finally chooses to act, it is not a reaction, it is a conclusion. The surest way to identify a weak man is not through his silence but through his nose. Watch him. He cannot sit still. He cannot be overlooked. He cannot bear the thought of invisibility, so he overcompensates loudly. Visibly, desperately, he must boast, he must perform. He must broadcast every accomplishment, inflate every gesture, parade every ounce of value. Why? Because deep beneath the mask of pride lies a trembling need for reassurance. What he cannot find within himself, he demands from the world. You will see him in the court, You will see him in the streets. You will see him online today more than ever, drenched in symbols of wealth, draped in borrowed authority, starved for recognition. He speaks not to inform, but to impress. He argues not to discover truth, but to protect the illusion of dominance. And the louder he becomes, the more fragile he appears to those who understand power. There is a particular tragedy in the man who tries to convince others he is confident. Because confidence that must be proven is no confidence at all. In my observations of princes and pretenders, the pattern never failed. Those who made the most noise about their greatness were the first to fracture under pressure. When the crisis came, they sought applause instead of strategy. When threatened, they reached for spectacle instead of substance. And why? Because their power was never internal. It was a costume they wore for as long as the crowd approved. Take away the audience and they collapse. Understand this, the insecure are slaves to perception. They live not by strategy, but by reaction. Their self-worth is measured by external approval, so when they are not admired, they feel erased. They are addicted to being seen. But the truly confident man, he is willing to go unseen, because he does not need the light to confirm his power. He brings his own. Observe carefully how the insecure speak. Their words are heavy with self-reference. I did this. I won that. I was the first. I deserve it. I am the best. This is not language, it is armor. Armor they must wear because they feel exposed. But their armor is loud, and loud things are easy to target. Real confidence is not an outfit. It is not in voice, tone, or display. It is in comfort. The comfort of knowing you do not need to be validated. The comfort of knowing you can be underestimated, overlooked, even mocked, and still come out victorious because the outcome is in your hands, not theirs. The insecure man needs witnesses. He needs people to see him win, or it does not count. But the confident man, he needs only results. He does not waste energy trying to be impressive. He is impressive and knows it. And that is enough. This is why in politics, warfare, and love, the insecure overstep. They push too hard, speak too much, demand too often. They cannot sit still with uncertainty, so they compensate with aggression. But this aggression is not strength. It is exposure, and once exposed, they are easily manipulated. Play to their ego, and they will follow. Challenge their pride, and they will react predictably. Ignore them, and they will chase you. They are not leaders, they are reactors. But the confident do not chase, they attract. They do not announce their value. They position themselves where value is obvious without needing to say a word. You see, power is never truly held by those who beg to be noticed. It is held by those who can walk away, the ones who can sit in silence while others scramble for attention, the ones who know that the loudest man in the room is rarely the one pulling the strings. He is merely the puppet. The strings always are held in quiet hands. The world lies to you. It whispers that confidence is a feeling, a mood, an emotion you must summon in the mirror each morning, but this is a fantasy for the weak. Confidence is not something you feel. Confidence is something you command. It is not a state of emotion. It is a state of mastery over yourself, over others, over the situation. The truly confident man does not ask, "Do I feel strong today?" He asks, "Am I in control?" Control of his words, control of his body, control of his environment, control of what others see, and what they never will. You may believe confidence comes from belief in oneself. This is only partly true. Belief without control is delusion. A fool may believe he can fly, but when he jumps from the tower, reality decides otherwise. Control means knowing the truth and still holding the reins. Confidence, then, is built not on fantasy, but on precision. You control your impulses, and others believe you are composed. You control your face, and others assume you are wise. You control your timing, and others call you strategic. But none of this happens if you cannot govern yourself. The world is not run by the passionate. It is run by those who know when to act, how to speak, and what to reveal. Confidence begins with discipline. The discipline to say less than you know, to wait longer than they expect, to stay calm while others unravel. When you show no urgency, they lean in. When you do not respond, they begin to doubt themselves. This is control. This is confidence. Those who depend on motivation are slaves to their moods. But the confident man operates regardless of feeling. He moves according to plan, not impulse. The men I studied, the kings, the warlords, the merchants who built empires, were not always the most charismatic. Many were cold, some were silent, but all of them possessed this one thing: complete self-governance. When insulted, they measured their silence. When flattered, they guarded their pride. They never allowed the moment to dictate their response. They dictated the moment. People confuse confidence with ease, but true confidence often feels like pressure because it means resisting your worst instincts. It means smiling at betrayal, shaking hands with rivals, sitting still in storms. Because you decide when to strike, not emotion, not fear, not ego. And that is why confidence must be built, not wished. You build it in how you speak, with clarity, not noise. You build it in how you walk, not fast, not slow, but deliberate. You build it in what you do not say, in what you do not show, in what you withhold. A confident man does not need the room to change for him to feel secure. He adapts to the room and then shapes it from within. He does not need to dominate immediately, because he knows control is taken in phases, not seized in chaos. He can sit across the table from his enemy and offer wine, not because he forgets, but because he calculates. Not because he forgives, but because revenge is most satisfying when served under control. Confidence is not found in declaring your value. It is found in knowing your value is inevitable, when your work, your mind, your name. When all of it is too heavy to ignore, you don't need to yell. They will feel your presence before you speak. They will anticipate your decision before you move. And they will adjust themselves to you because they can sense that you are in control and they are not. This is why most people pretend to be confident but collapse when conditions shift. Their confidence was a costume for good weather, but the truly confident carry control like armor, through chaos, through doubt, through betrayal. What they control remains untouched, themselves. And in mastering themselves, they inevitably master the world around them. Would you now like me to write the conclusion of the full video script in the same tone to complete this series? So now you understand, confidence is not the roar of a lion. It is the silence before the strike. It is not found in noise, attention, or display. It is found in the restraint to remain unseen until the moment is yours. It is not in proving your strength, but in never needing to. Those who are truly confident do not chase applause. They do not explain themselves. They watch, they wait. They shape the battlefield before others even realize a war has begun. They do not react, they maneuver. They do not overcompensate, they withhold. They do not search for control, they are control. Confidence is not a costume. It is not a speech. It is not a mood. It is preparation, discipline, restraint, and timing, worn so close to the skin it becomes invisible. And when the moment arrives, when it is time to act, they act without hesitation, without doubt, without noise, because they have already won long before they moved, and the world only discovers it after it's too late to stop them. This is the confidence of kings, of conquerors, of those who rule in silence. This is the confidence Machiavelli revered. Not the kind that demands attention, but the kind that bends reality without ever raising its voice. Welcome to real power. Now learn to wield it.